Hey guys, post read aloud here, doing the reflection. I did Dear Dear by Jean Beretta. It was a cool read. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't do a ton of, and have not been able to do a ton of read alouds as a adolescent education guy. So these are definitely new to me, but this was a cool book. It was awesome. And it was really useful in the fact that it focused on homophones, which are essentially words that look or sound the same as other words but are spelled differently. Hence, dear, dear. So, author's craft wise, there were definitely a couple things that stood out. Obviously, the focus on the homophones, I would consider an author's craft. Making that the center of the book is definitely important. Just early on here, the moose loves moose. He ate 8 bowls. And I think this was especially useful in younger students and helping them understand that words can look the same, or I'm sorry, sound the same, but be spelled differently. And that's something that, I mean, we struggle with even now a lot. These words can be incredibly confusing, but this was incredibly useful in that sense. So I definitely like the use of homophones and making it the focus of the book. Also, all of the homophones in the book are capitalized. So they're all in full caps, dear, dear, here, and here, also capitalized. And that's a continuation throughout the book. You, days, days, all capitalized. And there's not a whole lot of text in the book, which I also think, if this is what you're going for, it's incredibly concise in that most pages, good example here, the bear had to pause to bear his big paws. 1 to 2 sentences per page. I think in a book like this, trying to do what it's trying to do, it certainly gets that across. It sends that message, and it's really, really narrowly focused. And I think that's maybe not an author's craft, but definitely a focus for the author. Primary capitalization for the author's craft, as we talked about another example here. And then changes in the illustration designs I thought were really cool. So the illustrations are awesome, but then as you guys can see in the read aloud, there are also these vertical pages spiced in there. There's not an overabundance of them, but there's 2 or 3, and I think that's really cool. And that's something that allows for a little bit more animation when you are, when you are presenting this and reading this aloud to students. So that kind of change and variance in the ability to illustrate and when to use it, how to use it, I would definitely say falls under author's craft. But it was a shorter book. I really enjoyed it. It was really cool. Um, this is actually, I think, the only sentence that doesn't contain a homophone. They kept to themselves, so that was cool. But it uses humor. It's incredibly light. It's a light read, but it was very enriching to be able to engage with a book like this, especially when it's so tightly tied to a curriculum and English and the expansion of that English knowledge. Excuse me. And then watching a author so masterfully use their different crafts in the variance and illustration, the capitalization and boldness of letters of emphasis and words of emphasis, and the format and constant use of homophones that truly gets the message across to students. So not an incredibly long presentation here on the author's craft, but it wasn't an incredibly long book. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much.